Have you ever wondered what happens when public humiliation becomes the stepping stone to an empire worth billions of reais? That scene where the world judges you, points fingers at you, and you, instead of hiding, decide to turn the tables in. Such a spectacular way that no one would ever expect. Imagine being thrown to the media lions, having your life cruelly exposed, every misstep amplified, and yet managing not only to survive, but to emerge as one of the richest and most influential. Women on the planet sounds like fiction, a movie plot, right? But it is not. This is the real and relentless story of Kim Kardashian. Many see her as just a pretty face, another marketing product, or merely another reality show celebrity. But behind the glamour, the controversies, the scandalous headlines, and the perfect photos, there is a sharp strategic mind, an almost unshakable resilience, and a life story that will make you question absolutely everything you thought you knew about success, wealth, fame, and most importantly, about the power of turning adversity into your greatest fuel. Get ready to uncover the deepest secrets of how Kim Kardashian transformed ridicule into billions, shame into value, and built a legacy that not only defies, but redefines what it means to be an entrepreneur and a cultural force in the 21st century. Are you ready to see the side no one told you about, the real behind the scenes of this ascent, the pains and victories that shaped her? Stay until the end, because every twist and turn of this journey is an invaluable lesson on how to turn the most brutal adversity into power and purpose. Before she was the media titan we know today, even before the name Kardashian was synonymous with billions, luxury, and controversies, Kimberly Noel Kardashian's life was surprisingly common by Hollywood standards. But make no mistake, common does not mean simple by any stretch, much less easy. Think of a scenario where privilege, inherited from the famous surname of a lawyer father, mixed with the pains and tensions of a family not always stable or financially secure. Yes, her father, Robert Kardashian Sr., was a renowned lawyer, a name known for his work in the famous and controversial O.J. Simpson case. This, of course, gave the family a certain status in elite social circles in Los Angeles. But the excessive luxury that many today associate with famous surnames like hers was not always present from birth. The Kardashians, unlike what many think, were not born swimming in pools of money or in mansions with endless staff. Their life for a long time was more about keeping up appearances, struggling to fit into an extremely competitive social circle, and internally facing financial challenges that the public never imagined. That it is crucial to demystify the idea that Kim was born rich, that everything was handed to her on a silver platter. That is a lazy and incorrect narrative. Her childhood was a complex mix of relative comfort and the tensions of a family with huge aspirations and real financial challenges. The separation of her parents, a painful and very public divorce, and especially the tragic and unexpected death of Robert Kardashian Sr. plunged the family into a new and harsh reality. A reality where financial stability, once guaranteed by the paternal figure, became uncertain and precarious. This was Kim's first great test. She had to learn to fend for herself, to find her own path, and not to rely solely on a famous surname or a glamorous past. What happened next was an awakening, a moment when she realized she needed to build her own empire. Asterisk, many of you perhaps believe that Kim's astronomical money and fame automatically came from the reality show Keeping Up with the Kardashians. But that is a simplistic, superficial, and honestly, deeply mistaken view. The reality show, in fact, came long after Kim had already started paving her own way, albeit discreetly, behind the scenes of fashion and showbiz in Los Angeles. She worked as a stylist, organized wardrobes, and networked in the right circles. She was already building her foundations even before the cameras turned on for the show that would make her a global phenomenon. Imagine the nightmare of any public figure or ordinary person. Your privacy invaded, your most intimate and vulnerable moment exposed without your consent to the entire world. This was the brutal reality of Kim Kardashian with the leak of her sex tape. For the vast majority of people, a scandal of this kind would be the definitive end of a career, a deep dive into anonymity, shame, and irreversible public humiliation. But for Kim, with a mind that was already proving to be extraordinary, it was the beginning of a monumental turnaround, an almost alchemical transformation. This is exactly where Kim Kardashian's story becomes a fascinating and almost unbelievable case study in unwavering resilience and masterful strategy. Many, if not all, saw the tape as irrefutable proof of her downfall, the certification that her media career was over before it even truly began. But she, with an intelligence that very few recognized at the time, managed not only to survive, but to completely invert that narrative with terrifying skill. Instead of hiding in the darkness of shame, of disappearing from the spotlight, she confronted the situation head-on. And subtly, almost imperceptibly to the uninitiated public, she began to use the controversy itself as a gigantic magnet for media attention. Think about it for a moment. The public humiliation that seemed destined to destroy her, to sink her in fact, became her greatest asset. The exposure, previously seen as the greatest threat, was capitalized on in a way that defies logic. Suddenly, the name Kim Kardashian was everywhere, in every conversation, in every gossip show. People wanted to know more about the woman behind the scandal, about her story, about what would happen next. Morbid curiosity quickly turned into a massive audience. An audience, my friend, is the most powerful currency in the entertainment world. She not only survived the attack, she prospered and flourished in the eye of the storm, turning poison into medicine. And it is in this scenario of chaos and opportunity that the reality show Keeping Up with the Kardashians comes into play, changing everything. It is wrong to think that the show was just an innocent personal exposure or a pastime for a rich family. No, it was used with surgical strategy as a shield and a catapult at the same time. The reality show offered a controlled platform where Kim and her family could shape their own image, show a more human, funnier, more relatable side, and crucially, dilute the devastating impact of the initial scandal. The show became an unprecedented marketing tool, transforming personal life into lucrative entertainment, and most importantly, building a global brand, a cultural phenomenon that endures to this day. Asterisk. Before we move on to the next chapter, where we will unravel the mind that built billions, if you are enjoying uncovering how a person's mind can be reprogrammed for success, to turn the tables even after unimaginable falls, please like this video. This immensely helps us continue to bring you incredible and inspiring stories like Kim's. And if you feel you are ready to change your mindset, to activate the same way of thinking as people like LeBron James, Oprah Winfrey, or Elon Musk, to gain insights that can redefine your financial and personal trajectory, the link in the first pinned comment could be the turning point of your life. It is not a miracle. It is science applied to mindset. It is the path that many of the world's most successful people have already walked. Do not miss this chance. Here is one of the biggest and most persistent myths that Kim Kardashian debunked with her meteoric rise. That to be famous, and absurdly rich, you need to be a singer with an impeccable voice, an award-winning Hollywood actress, or a runway model. Kim Kardashian is, without a doubt, a pure and unmatched personal branding case study. She built a billion-dollar empire, not by being an artist in the traditional sense, but by mastering the art of influence and disruption. She is living proof that modern fame and wealth can come from something far more abstract, yet extremely powerful: the ability to connect with millions and inspire consumption. Let us do a practical exercise together. What can you, in your own life and work, learn and apply from Kim's logic in your daily life? Think about influencer marketing raised to the 10th power. She was one of the pioneers, if not the pioneer, in transforming her own image, her own lifestyle into a financial asset. Every post on her social media, every public appearance, every detail of her routine became valuable content in the business. Opportunity. She mastered the art of creating a niche market, the niche of her own life, and became the greatest and most undeniable authority in it. She did not sell a product. She sold a lifestyle, an aspiration. And then came Skims. Many look at the shapewear and loungewear brand and think, oh, just another celebrity brand. It must have investors behind it. But what most people do not know, or do not understand, about Skims is the disruptive positioning and inclusion strategy that turned it into a unicorn valued at billions of dollars in record time. While other lingerie and intimate apparel brands focused on a restricted and exclusive beauty standard, Kim looked at the market and saw a gigantic gap. The need and desire for products that catered to all body types, all shapes, and all skin tones. She did not just sell intimate apparel. She sold confidence, comfort, representation, and acceptance. And the acceptance was massive, turning Skims into a phenomenon. This ability to see an unmet need, to solve a real consumer problem with it, personal touch, is the unmistakable mark of a billionaire mind. But do not think that Kim's money comes only from the reality show or Skims. She is a true multifaceted entrepreneur. She has discrete and strategic investments in various areas that few know about: beauty, mobile games, emerging technologies like NFTs, and even venture capital in promising startups. Kim is a shrewd investor, diversifying her income streams and building a gigantic portfolio that protects her from the volatilities of any single market. She is always ahead, with her eyes fixed on the next big wave, the next business opportunity. And this sharp foresight is not luck. It is a direct result of a mindset relentlessly focused on growth, innovation, and identifying opportunities. She does not wait for things to happen. She makes them happen. Very few public figures in recent history have been as attacked, rejected, targeted with harsh jokes, cruel memes, and relentless criticism as Kim Kardashian. From her sometimes criticized performance on Saturday Night Live, to harsh criticisms about her intelligence, her talent, or even her validity as a person, she faced a constant and tireless barrage of negativity for years on end. But here is the deepest secret, the key point that separates her from the majority. She never, ever retaliated with hatred or bitterness, or at least not publicly. This is a masterful example of emotional intelligence at its highest level and impeccable image control. Instead of letting herself be overwhelmed by the flood of attacks, of engaging in public feuds that would only fuel the negative narrative and give more stage to her critics, Kim chose strategic silence, dignity, and, most importantly, hard, focused work. She let her results, her billions, her ventures, and her actions speak for themselves, silencing critics with facts. She refused to be dragged into the mud. We can brilliantly apply the Pygmalion effect theory here. This theory suggests that the expectations others have of us can influence our performance and, consequently, our lives. Kim, in a way, powerfully used this to her advantage. The criticisms, the stereotypes of untalented or just a pretty face, propelled her with uncontrollable force to prove them wrong. Others' negative views of her, instead of bringing her down, shaped her overcoming, and vice versa. She evolved from a questioned socialite to a successful businesswoman and a global influencer, not because she fit others' expectations, but because she frontally challenged them and turned them into her own advantage. And this is the crucial warning for you watching us. Beware of quick and superficial judgments. Kim Kardashian is a living example of how it is possible to use stereotypes to your advantage, transforming prejudices into tools of influence. She embraced public perception, however limited or negative it was, and used it as a starting point to build something much larger, more substantial, and more respectable than anyone could imagine. She became the owner of the narrative, the author of her own story, not its victim. A powerful lesson for all of us. If there was a decisive turning point in Kim Kardashian's life, it revealed profound mental reprogramming, a change in priorities and direction. It was her divorce from Kanye West. This widely covered event was not just the end of a high-profile marriage. It was the beginning of an emotional and professional reconstruction and the redefinition of new and ambitious goals. For Kim as a mother, CEO of a billion-dollar empire, and crucially, as an independent woman, mistress of her own destiny, she emerged from this experience with renewed clarity about her deepest values, her life's purpose, and the legacy she wants to build. And speaking of purpose, the big question arises: what does Kim Kardashian ultimately seek? Is it just legacy? Or is it still ostentation? The public image often focuses on glamour, exorbitant luxury, and the display of her fortune. But what almost no one comments on, what the mainstream media ignores, are her significant philanthropic actions and her growing and passionate interest in social justice and prison reform in the United States. Kim is not just advocating for change. She is, in fact, studying law to make a concrete and legal difference, using her vast platform to amplify silenced voices and tirelessly fight for those who have no voice in the system. This, my friends, is not ostentation. It is the building of an authentic legacy with real social impact. So, what is the final secret Kim never told about her success? It is not a mystical secret guarded under lock and key, nor a magic formula that only she knows. It is a powerful and replicable combination of unwavering discipline. She is known for her almost obsessive work ethic and relentless focus, strategic influence, the unique ability to shape opinions, trends, and behaviors of millions of people, and impeccable timing, the instinctive ability to be in the right place at the right time, capitalizing on emerging trends and business opportunities before they become obvious to the rest of the world. This combination, believe me, is something very few people can replicate on such a scale and with such mastery. She mastered the art of being a force of nature. She transformed the most devastating public exposure into an empire valued at billions of reais. But this was only possible because she profoundly reprogrammed the way she saw herself, money, power, and above all, challenges. It is not about luck or being an heiress. It is about a mindset that constantly seeks growth, overcoming, and transformation. The story of Kim Kardashian is, in its essence, much more than gossip, controversy, or luxury. It is an epic journey of overcoming strategic intelligence in adversity, and, above all, irrefutable proof that humiliation and adversity can be the most powerful catalysts for the most extraordinary success. She teaches us, brutally and honestly, that how you react to humiliation, challenges, and others' expectations is what truly, in the end, defines your destiny and your legacy. She refused to be a victim, choosing to be the architect of her own fortune and influence. If you have made it this far, it is because, like us, you believe that the human mind has unlimited power to change your reality, to reverse impossible situations, and to build the future you desire. You saw how Kim transformed the most humiliating public exposure into an empire valued at billions. But this was only possible because she reprogrammed the way she saw herself, money, and power. And if you want to start changing your mindset too, to activate the same way of thinking as billionaires and successful people, to gain access to tools that can literally reconfigure your brain, there is something important pinned in the comments that can help you with that. It is a program that can reconfigure your brain to think like the richest and most successful people in the world, with sessions of only 90 seconds a day and visible results in up to 7 days. It is not magic. It is neuroscience. That is exactly how many people turned their lives around. Even famous people you would not even imagine. Click the link in the first pinned comment and discover the transformative power of your own mind. Your journey to success begins with a single click. And now, we want to hear from you. Did this story spark something profound in you? Did this turnaround surprise you? Share your impressions and your biggest takeaways in the comments. And for our next video, which celebrity or public figure would you like us to uncover the most hidden secrets, the twists and turns, and the side no one knows? Leave your suggestion in the comments. Who knows, maybe your idea will become our next viral hit. See you next time, and remember, your mind is your greatest asset.